Hello everybody, welcome to the Cavae Mundi Games trading card channel. Cavae Mundi Games channel, sorry, it's a little late at night at the moment. As promised from my prior video, this is probably, depending on how long this takes, one or multiple tutorial videos on how to play the Cavae Mundi trading card game that you've seen me and my friend Dali play across the course of the few videos we have on our YouTube channel already. This will not be as in-depth as some would probably like it, but we'll go over the rulebook chapter by chapter, and that should give you a good idea of what you've seen so far if you go back to watch it, the other videos we posted of the starter deck battles and the draft battle. So let's get started. Well, this is not a final iteration of the rulebook. This is pretty close to final. So let me bring up for you here for a minute. Here's the chapters. I'll let you look at that for a minute. The first chapter is just some lore, which you can watch on your own. You can read on your own time when you get access to the rulebook. This is the a section for people who have not played trading card games before. Common terminology like tapping, untapping, deck, library, the discard and draw, phases and turns, items and creature zones, graveyard and banish zone. If you've already played a trading card game before, this is all pretty new, not that new to you. You already know what these all would be. I do apologize for the setup. This is kind of a rough setup at the moment, so I'm doing some live moving around right now. More of a one-on-one video with me, not Dali, in the picture. Though he will help with a few videos. Next, we have this section in the terminology section, which explains the rarities and, most importantly, anatomy of the trading card for my game. There are common, uncommon, and rare rarities. In the future, there will be a fourth one, which is our equivalent of mythic rarities, which is hollowed. But that's not till way later down the line. Another point to point out here is marking and marks. So let's say you have a creature like this, right? And you apply a mark on it. Well, you can only have up to 3 of that same mark on that card. If you have a new mark of from a different card on it, it will replace the 3 stack from earlier. So yeah, there are 5 key elements of a Cavae Mundi T.C.G card. There's the name, the deploy cost or DP, HP or health, the faction symbol, the default attack, and the secondary attack or ability at the very bottom beneath the line or division. With the frame redesign in the second expansion of the TCG, all these elements should be very familiar to you. So if you're familiar with this, you'll be in good hands. Next, deck limitations and game setup. Let me just put that in for you real quick so you can read it on your own time. Feel free to pause any time to read as well if you don't like hearing my voice. Deck limitations. There are a few deck limitations. 1, there is a deck size maximum of 50 cards and a deck size minimum of 40 cards. You can have up to 3 of the same named card in your deck. So you can have up to 3 farmers, for instance. There's a sideboard, but it's only 6 cards. Pretty straightforward. The fourth thing is mythical characters and magical equipment. So you can have a total of 3 from either, but not 3 of each. So you can have 2 characters and 1 magical equipment, or 2 magical equipment and 1 character, or 3 of one or 3 of the other, not both. Game setup. This is kind of pretty straightforward. If you've played trading games before, the only real difference is that there are 6 life points. and you draw, and the starting and maximum hand size is 6 cards, not 7, not like Magic, and not 5 like Yu-Gi-Oh. A few key differences with other trading card games is that the starting player's turn, well, both players' starting turn, they can cast cards but cannot attack with their creatures that turn. And then the starting player does not draw for turn either. This is done to help mitigate the advantage that going first or going second would have, and it evens out the playing field. And then this is just some deck construction tips, which you can read in your own time if you pause the video. Next up, we have a visualization of the game board. Let me push that up for you. There we go. There are 6 numbers here, each with their own relevant zone. Number 1 on both players' fields is your resource zone. You can have as many resources as you want. There is no limitation on that. The only limitation is you only put 1 into play per turn. Unless another effect on a card says otherwise, of course. Number 2 is your creature zones. You can only have up to 4 creatures. And if you have a full field already and you want to play a new creature, you need to destroy one of your existing creatures to put it in its spot. The same goes for item cards in the 3 spot, which is your item and equipment zone. The key difference with that is that equipment can also attach to creatures, so they don't take up a number 3 spot. But there are item cards that are not equipment, so they just take up your spots. It's the same concept, it's the same theory. It's the same exact thing as creatures. If they're full and you want to replace something, you have to destroy one of them to put in its spot. Simple as that. 4 and 5 are your deck and graveyard, and 6 is your banish zone. Pretty straightforward stuff if you've already played a trading card game before. Next up is turns, the turn phases and win conditions. Turn/game phases and win conditions. So the win condition. There are 2 win conditions. You either have your opponent deck out and they cannot draw a card for turn, in which case they automatically lose, or you defeat them by reducing their life points from 6 to 0. Excuse me, burp there. In order to do that, the only way to reduce your opponent's life points to 0 is by defeating their creatures with your creatures in creature combat, or by attacking them directly if they have no creatures on their field. What this means is that spell effects, keywords, card effects, and non-creature-based combat damage does not count for life point depletion. You can only do it with your creatures on the field. Simple enough? All right. Here's the breakdown of turns. If I played any trading card game before, it's pretty straightforward. Sorry, this is not holding up that well. I hate when it does that. Okay. So you have the untap phase, the upkeep part of the untap phase. Then you have the draw phase, where you draw a card from your deck. One difference here is that if you have 0 cards in your hand at the start of the draw phase, you draw 2 cards instead of 1. Then you go to main phase, you can put 1 resource into play. As long as you have enough resource, you can summon as many creatures, item cards, and spell cards as you want. The only real difference here is that, unlike Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, or other trading card games, you can only cast cards during your turn. There is no instant speed, there is no flash. The only real exception to this rule is if it's a card effect during your opponent's turn, and you're not casting the card. You cannot cast the card. You cannot cast any card from anywhere during your opponent's turn. Make sense? Okay. Then you have the battle phase. Oh, forgot to mention, the main phase. You can also tap creatures to use tap abilities. You do not normally tap creatures unless it's part of an ability they have. I'll get to that in the battle phase. In the battle phase, only untapped creatures can attack, and only one can attack per turn. You do not tap your creatures to attack, and all default attacks do not have a resource cost. You can attack your opponent's creatures regardless of their position, tapped or untapped. There is a little caveat to that. If one of your opponent's creatures is taunting, like the condition taunt, like they gain the condition taunt, then your creatures have to attack that creature. That's the only real exception to that rule. Number 3, damage dealt to creatures do not heal at the end of the battle phase. It carries over between turns, like Pokemon. Then in end phase, just do usual end phase stuff, and then you pass the turn. Like resolving effects, passing the turn, etc., etc. This next part is just a gallery of all the cards that will be coming out. The card types that will be available in the first set, not the second one, including non-basic resources, mythical character cards, magic equipment, and tokens. And then on the next page, we have the conditions and keywords. Conditions are things afflicted to a creature or gained from a creature. Let's go through them in order then, shall we? Burn is pretty straightforward. It deals 3 damage to the afflicted creature during each of its controlling player's upkeeps. This does not count for life point depletion, as I've mentioned earlier, because the only way to do that is through combat damage with the creature itself, not effect damage, spell, or card damage. Just creature damage counts. Poison is a little different. It doesn't deal damage, but rather it reduces the base attack damage of the creature it's on by half, rounded down. Sleep is a lot like the Pokemon T.C.G sleep, where they are unable to attack, and its controller must flip a coin during each of their upkeeps, and if they get heads, it is no longer asleep. Stun is a temporary form of sleep, but it's a lot worse. It forces the creature to be tapped, cannot untap, they cannot attack, and its effects and abilities are negated. But it usually only lasts 1 turn. I'm sorry about the sliding rulebook. There's a pencil sharpener right here that I cannot move. Give me a minute. Some live action recording here. There we go. Some live action editing. There we go. So if I moosh this up, now we can get on to Duel, Lifesteal, and Taunt. Dueling is very similar to Fight in Magic the Gathering. Not quite the same. In Duel, when a creature duels, it deals damage to one of your opponent's creatures with its base attack without entering the battle phase. So it's like a free extra attack. But this does not count for life point depletion either, because it's an effect damage. Lifesteal is pretty straightforward. Basically, any damage your creatures will do to an opponent's creature heals your creature equal to damage dealt. Pretty straightforward. And then Taunt, like I mentioned earlier, forces your opponent's creatures to attack a creature you have that is taunting. Unlike other conditions, this is toggleable. You can choose to remove the taunt condition by untapping it, but you don't have to. Next, we're on to keywords. Enter. Pretty straightforward. It activates the relevant effect when this card enters your field. On attack is also pretty straightforward. Whenever the creature attacks, it activates the relevant effect. Buried refers to activates the relevant effect when a card with this keyword is sent to the graveyard from anywhere. Shatter X. Destroy X item cards your opponent controls on the field. Pretty straightforward. Delve X is pretty similar to Opt in Magic the Gathering, but not quite the same. Look at the top X cards of your deck. You may put any of them on top or bottom of your deck in any order. Infuse X. You may banish X cards from your graveyard when deploying this card to have it enter the field tapped and activate the relevant effect. So Infuse is more or less an optional casting cost that lets you do a little extra of a resource to do an extra thing. Pretty cool, in my opinion. Empower's the same way, except it matters with card attacking. Empower X. Pay X resource to increase the card's attack by X this turn. After combat, it becomes tapped and does not untap during its controller's next turn. Basically, you get a big boost of damage, then it cannot do it again or attack next turn. Pretty straightforward. Fabricate X. Discard X cards from your hand, cast this card from a graveyard tapped. It's a graveyard recursion effect. It's like a creature with Fabricate. Let's say this farmer has it. Fabricate 3. I could discard 3 cards from my hand to cast it from a graveyard instead of paying its deploy cost. Or from getting it to my hand and then cast it. It's it's a keyword meant for graveyard reanimation. Then finally, a very simple effect, Excavate X. Discard the card with this keyword from your hand to draw 1 card. Pretty straightforward stuff. Oh, sorry about that. I knocked you over. This is not the best desk I'm using, so I apologize if that threw you off. And then, yeah, that's really about it. I was intending on using like a live mini battle to show you what's going on, but I feel like this is just the most direct and easiest way to explain what's going on. And I also want to start implementing QR codes. If you are not subscribed to the channel, here's the QR code for it. If you want my TTRPG, which I will start showing off soon, I would say probably around July, maybe earlier depending on how things go, there's the QR code for the drive-through RPG link. And then my Discord is now live. It's for all my games. It is moderated. I would be very wise to not mess around. But if you're curious and want to join the rest of us on the journey of making these games and want in on the action, you get to basically see the rules for free, but you can't download them or resell them or anything like that. It's a nice little perk. It saves you some money, but then you view the rules from the Discord itself. Pretty straightforward stuff. And otherwise, just a great place to hang out, play test, and form a great community. If that interests you, here is the QR code for the Discord, and then the Drive-Thru RPG link, and then the YouTube channel if you're seeing this from some other site that's not YouTube, which this will be put on. Alright, that is really about it. I appreciate you watching, and I hope you have a good time. The next video will probably be me introducing the TTRPG, which I'm hoping to be ready sometime around July, is my hard date to have it be recorded and uploaded. I still can't guarantee an upload schedule either with how things are going. It's a little chaotic at the moment, but we're not stopping. This is a year of progress, and progress is being made. With that being said, I appreciate you watching once again. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe. Please share this video around, get the word out if you're curious. All the links are in the channel description, and the QR codes will once again also be posted at the end of this video. Thank you, and have a good evening. See you next time. Peace.